I think I'm connected. Okay. Hey, world. Um, I'm doing my next round on this painting, and I am hoping that I get a better connection this time. I've learned a little bit about getting the right number of frames per second, and yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do. So, I think I need to add a little bit more ground white to this so it looks still shallow behind my... Hopefully my hand isn't covering everything up. I tried to move the camera a little bit further away from the table so maybe my autofocus wouldn't keep zooming in and out so much. So I'm not sure if that's the problem or what. So we'll see how this video turns out. I just spent an hour learning about marketing and sales funnels, which was not the most enjoyable experience, but it was eye-opening. So I feel as if I have earned some painting time. I'm hoping that someday I won't have to earn painting time. I'll just get to paint because that's what people want me to do. And that's what people want to pay me to do. But I still have a ways to go. I am here to change the whole idea that artists do not have to be starving artists. I'm going to change it. There's already people who have changed that whole idea, and I am no different in wanting to do the same. Just can't give up. So the next thing I need to do, which I always struggle with every new phase of a painting, is when I have to add a new element and when I'm trying to decide if I want to add a new element or not. I'm getting to the point to where I'm thinking, okay, am I going to add that flag in my painting or am I not going to add the flag? So I have to decide. I think in the original image it's right around in here. And it's red. It's like a really, really true red. But I'm not sure if it's a cad red. It's just really bright. Like, okay, so here's this chart that I have, which is kind of cool. It kind of helps me to kind of get an idea of where I want to go. Unfortunately, I don't always have the right colors. Okay, so, like, to me, the color red that I have is this cad red medium. It's like a really nice bright red, and that's kind of what I'm seeing in the image. So it's just a pure cadmium red medium. So I guess that's what I gotta do. I really like these charts, and I can show you where to get it and give you a link if you're interested. Just send me a message or comment in the comments below, and I can send you a link on how to obtain this guide. I've also made my own guide, which I think is pretty awesome. I need to make more of these, but this is the guide I made based on my own, the colors that I actually had on hand. So it was really helpful. So, like, say this is cadmium yellow light, and this is scarlet. When you mix them together, this is what you get in the purest form. And then what I did, I took it a step further. I created a gradient of color based on like the most pure value to pure white. So this is pure white and this is this color over here. And then what I did was I added a pile of white here and I dragged it across here so it'd get a little less and a little less white. And then I went from here and started making little circles with my palette knife like this until I got to this lightest value. And then I just scraped a little line in between each one so I could see the values in between. And I have found this to be really helpful because the most time consuming part for me in the studio is color mixing and trying to figure out how to obtain the right colors that I want to present on the canvas. So it's kind of interesting. So like ultramarine blue and scarlet, when you mix them together, you get this really, really, really deep purple that's almost black. But then when you add white to it, you get a nice, really cool gradient of color. And this is, I wish I could label that better, but this is permanent alizarin crimson. So here that's a permanent alizarin crimson with ultramarine blue, with cobalt blue, and with, I don't know if that's, I think that's viridian. So it's pretty interesting what you can do. So I'm thinking I need either scarlet or cadmium red medium. Where is my cad red medium? Well, it would be helpful if I knew where it was. Here it is. Okay, so this is cad red medium. A little bit goes a very long ways. It's a really nice, bright red, which is what I want for contrasting against that background. See, even I don't even need that much. Really, if I didn't want to waste so much paint, I could have probably just taken a toothpick and gotten what I want. And the other thing that I want to do with this is to not apply too much paint, and I don't want to brush it around. I want the flag to be more textured, I guess. So one tool or set of tools that I employ a lot when doing this kind of thing are actually, they're not even painting tools, they're clay tools. I find that I use clay tools a lot even with oil pastels too. So I think what I'm going to do just to be safe, because I don't want to overdo it, is I got this, I have a set of oil or clay tools that look like this. And they are really handy. You can get them at the craft store in the like clay section for really inexpensive, and they're really nice with oils because I can just grab a little smidgen of, oh, which I think I might use this because it's like kind of like a palette knife, but it's got a little angle on it. So here's the scary part. I just want a little tiny bit on the tip. Whoa, that really got blurry. I gotta stop moving so much. And I want it to be right about, and I'm just gonna dab it on. I'm kind of almost doing like as if it was pointillism. I'm not mixing it in with the colors below. And then I've just wiped off the excess, and I'm going to get a little bit more on the tip, on the underside of the tip of this. Kind of like pointillism. Pointillism is less risky when you're trying to be precise sometimes than just doing big bold brush strokes. And maybe I'll build this up a little bit so it stands out a little more on the canvas above the seawater. I just wanted this little accent because I just think it's so cool. I'm having a little challenge with this because this substrate that I'm using is not completely flat or stretched. So that's giving me a little challenge in the precision department. Okay, and then how much wider is that flag? I have to look at my picture for proportions. How much wider is the flag than my wave? And I'd say it's about the same width. So now when I'm trying to do the straight lines, I want to try to get the paint right at the tip of this. So you kind of have to keep dipping. We're getting there. Hopefully my head is not in the way of you being able to see this. I really love this red. It's intense. Okay, I think I've got my flag. So then I need to make the flag pole. and I want it to be pretty straight, so I need to employ a different tool, which is this guy. And it's filthy because I forgot to clean it off. Now my question is, what color is the flagpole? I think what I should probably do is mix some red and purple, or red and blue, so I have the same blue from, I suppose I don't have any good blue out. I want like some dark, or maybe I should do this cerulean blue, because that's the cerulean blue and some of that viridian with some red. Because if we refer back to what I have, if I do scarlet, or no, well, that's not, okay, I have cerulean blue, and if I do some shade of scarlet or red, let me look at my other chart, because I know I'm using cadmium red medium. So I would look at this chart and say I'm using cadmium red medium, and where is cerulean blue on here? Cad red medium and cerulean blue makes that color? Well, what if I want like almost a dark? So this is not working. I need to use my other chart. Because if I use just plain black, then it's gonna look really too contrasting in my painting. So I think what I'm gonna try to do is just go with this based on the scarlet with cerulean blue and see what happens. So I'm gonna mix it right here. See, it's getting dark. And if I need to make it even darker, see how dark it got? And then that way, for some reason it creates harmony within the painting to be able to use the same colors that are already in your palette. Okay, and the next thing I need to figure out is how long is that? So if I use, to figure out which, oh, maybe I should use this one. See, I'm going to use one of these sides of this to get the effect I want. See, this is that's the color of the red and cerulean blue makes the perfect black that I need that still harmonizes with this image. I'm afraid to use the long side because I think I'm just going to use this and then drag it through. Trying to get a little bit of paint right on the edge. Not too much gloppiness. And then I'm going to, here goes nothing. Gotta start. And pull. I did it! Yay! And I didn't kill it. And you know what? I don't think it has to be perfect, because if I try to make it perfect, I'm probably going to screw it up. I know myself. There we go. We've got our flag. So I think that's all I'm going to do for right now, because I feel pretty good about that. I might add a little bit of shadow in this one area. It's like this little area in the picture where there's just like a little bit of shadow that I'm going to try and. To be careful, since this is actually paper, not to over scratch this so I don't tear it. I do a lot of etching in my paintings to get details. Painting for me is a lot about pushing and pulling and adding and giving and taking away. And I can kind of use this tool to kind of blend it a little bit so it's not so intense. In the photo, there's just like this little, I don't know what it is, shadowy area where I don't know if it's water or just a pile of sand, or it might be seaweed. I wasn't going to add it before, but I think kind of gives some more perspective to how big and how small we are in comparison to the sea. Now the other thing is, I'm not sure where the light is actually coming from in this painting. I know it's not coming from behind because there's a cloud there. I think the light source is actually coming from this side. So I might need to scrape off a little bit from one part of the light pole, or the flagpole, sorry. Because the sun, I don't know, it was such a weird storm. The storm was coming from this side and then sweeping around the back, like off into the distance. And the sun was really bright just moments before, so that might be why I have such a bright and dark at the same time. I think that's what intrigues me about this piece. All right, I think I have to think for a little bit more, and maybe maybe I should add a little bit of dark to just the part of this flag so it shows like it's kind of flapping a little more in the wind. And pray that I don't kill it. It's so small I can barely see it, but even just adding that little bit of darkness, it's making the flag to me in my eyes look like it's jumping off the page, so that's really cool. All right, I'm going to attempt to bring it closer. So you can see. But that's what we have so far. All right, everyone. That's it for today.